You knew they weren't going to text back. Deep down you knew. But you checked your phone anyway. 3 times. Maybe 4. And here's the part that nobody talks about. You weren't just hoping they'd reply. You were addicted to the uncertainty itself. Psychologists have a name for this. It's called intermittent reinforcement. And it's the exact same psychological mechanism that makes gambling impossible to stop. It's been quietly running in the background of your love life this whole time. But the real question isn't why they don't show up for you. The real question is, why do you keep showing up for someone who doesn't? Stay with me. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't just interesting. It's going to feel uncomfortably familiar. If this already feels personal, that's not a coincidence. And I need you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You're not too much. You are not weak. There is a psychological reason, a deeply wired, research-backed reason, why certain people are drawn to emotional unavailability, like a moth to a flame. Welcome to Psychology Explained, where we decode the hidden patterns behind your behavior so you can finally understand yourself. Let's go. Imagine this. You meet someone. They're warm one day and distant the next. They laugh with you on Tuesday, and by Friday they've gone completely quiet. No explanation, no reason. And instead of pulling back, you lean in harder. You start replaying conversations. You start wondering what you did wrong. You start working to get back that version of them that made you feel so good. Why does this happen? Here's the psychology. When someone is consistently loving, your brain registers it, files it away, and moves on. It becomes the new normal. But when love is inconsistent, when it appears and disappears without warning, your brain enters a state of hypervigilance. It becomes obsessed with solving the puzzle, and it starts releasing dopamine. Not when you actually receive the affection, but every single time you anticipate it. Every time you think, maybe today is the day they come back. This is the same neurological loop that activates inside a casino. You don't keep pulling the lever because you always win. You keep pulling it because sometimes you do. Psychologist B.F. Skinner proved this in the 1950s. Unpredictable rewards create far stronger behavioral patterns than consistent ones. He tested it on pigeons, but honestly, it works just as powerfully on humans who are falling in love. And here's what makes it worse. The person who pulls away and then comes back, even once, your brain codes that return as a victory, as proof, as something you personally earned. That rush of relief when they finally text back, that's not love. That's your brain celebrating a reward it was never guaranteed. And once that loop starts, it is very hard to break. Now here's where it gets personal. This pattern didn't start with them. It started long before you ever met them. Psychologist John Bowlby spent decades studying something called attachment theory. The idea that the way you were loved as a child creates a template for how you seek love as an adult. If you grew up in an environment where love was warm but unpredictable, a parent who was present some days and emotionally absent others, your nervous system learned something quietly dangerous. It learned that love is something you have to earn, and it's never fully guaranteed. So as an adult, when someone gives you that same hot and cold feeling, it doesn't feel toxic, it feels familiar. And familiar, even when it hurts, feels like home. Researchers call this an anxious attachment style. Studies suggest nearly 20% of adults carry it, most of them completely unaware. You weren't looking for someone unavailable. You were looking for something that felt known. And that distinction right there is everything. Now let's talk about something that nobody wants to admit. Emotionally unavailable people feel exciting. And there's a real psychological reason for that. When someone is a little hard to read, when you can't quite figure them out, your brain treats them like a mystery that needs to be solved. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Your mind obsesses over incomplete things far more than completed ones. An open loop in your brain demands to be closed. And an emotionally unavailable person is the ultimate open loop. You keep thinking about them because your brain literally cannot file them away as finished. They stay at the front of your mind, rent-free, because the story never feels complete. And on top of that, there's something called misattribution of arousal. When you're around someone unpredictable, your heart beats faster. Your palms get slightly sweaty. Your senses sharpen, and your brain, trying to make sense of all that physical arousal, labels it as attraction, as chemistry, as a special connection. But sometimes what you're actually feeling isn't love, it's anxiety. and your brain dressed it up in romantic clothing. Psychologists Richard Nisbet and Stanley Schachter demonstrated this in real experiments. People consistently mistook nervousness for attraction, which means the very thing that makes them feel exciting might actually be the thing that's stressing your nervous system out. Here's the part that stings a little. People who are repeatedly drawn to emotionally unavailable partners often share one quiet belief at their core, and it usually sounds something like this: I am not quite enough to be loved easily. Not as a conscious thought, not something you'd say out loud, but deep in the background, like a program running silently on an old computer. Psychologists connect this to something called core shame, the belief that there is something fundamentally unlovable about who you are. And when you carry that belief, consistent love doesn't feel safe. It feels suspicious. It feels like they just haven't seen the real you yet. But someone who is distant, someone who makes you work for it, when they finally show warmth, it feels like you passed the test, like you proved something, like maybe, just maybe, you are enough after all. This is why self-worth and relationship patterns are so deeply connected. It's not about the other person at all. It's about what their unavailability gives you permission to believe about yourself, temporarily. The chase becomes a way of chasing your own validation, and the tragedy is, it never actually arrives. Because the moment they pull back again, the doubt comes rushing back too, and the cycle continues. So what breaks the loop? Awareness is the first step, and that's exactly what you're doing right now. But real change comes when you start building what psychologists call a secure base inside yourself, not inside another person. When you stop needing someone's inconsistency to feel alive in a relationship. When consistent, calm, available love stops feeling boring and starts feeling safe. That shift doesn't happen overnight, but it starts the moment you recognize the excitement you've been chasing was never really about them. It was about you trying to finally feel like enough. And you already are. Now here's what I want you to do. Think about your own patterns for just a moment. Drop a number in the comments. 1, if you recognized yourself in this video. 2, if you've already started breaking this cycle. And 3, if you want to understand yourself even deeper. I read every single comment. And if this video made you feel seen, subscribe. Because this channel is for people who are brave enough to look inward. You belong here. In the next video, we're going to explore something even deeper. Why some people unconsciously self-sabotage the moment a healthy relationship gets too close. If that sounds uncomfortably familiar already, you won't want to miss it.